As an HR professional, one of the most common issues that we see is sexual harassment in small business. Obviously, your intention as the business owner or manager is never to put your employees in harm's way, but secondary to that, when and if it happens, it becomes a major liability to your company. What will follow in this essay are the current best practices to not only creating a safe and working environment, which is priority number one, but also how to cover your bases when preventing, correcting, or lessening the damages if something is to occur. What is the legal definition of sexual harassment in a small business? As defined by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC for short, sexual harassment is a form of sex discrimination that violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It applies to employers with 15 or more employees, including state and local governments. It also applies to employment agencies and to labor organizations, as well as to the federal government. The first step is having a sexual harassment policy in place. A sexual harassment policy should be in your handbook. First, the policy must define what sexual harassment is. Generally, there are two kinds of sexual harassment, quid pro quo and hostile work environment. An effective policy would cover both. As the DOL states, harassment becomes unlawful where 1, enduring the offensive conduct becomes a condition of continued employment, or 2, the conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Petty slights, annoyances, isolated incidents, unless extremely serious, will not typically rise to the level of becoming illegal. What is the most important way to protect yourself and your business? Prevention and training. It's important that you do your best as a business owner to prevent any harassment from occurring in the first place. Having a policy in place is a great first step, but even the best sexual harassment policy will not completely protect you if the employees don't know about it or don't understand the full intent. It is imperative that as a business owner, you ensure that every leader, supervisor, and employee has read and signs off on the organization's sexual harassment policy and training. Regular training provided by a certified HR pro for all employees is always advised. Employees must know how to make a valid complaint, and the management team must know how to deal with the situation if and when it's to occur. If something goes wrong, what's the first step? If an issue does arise, being an attentive and caring leader is the first step. Listen to your employees, hear them out, take all claims seriously. In our experience, many times when a claim is made, the victim just wants that behavior to stop immediately. Never put your employees back into a situation after they told you they have felt uncomfortable. It seems obvious, but that's the problem. The more obvious it is not to do, the bigger the liability for you if it's done. If an employee has made a claim about a situation or a person, you should never put them into that situation again. You should immediately contact your HR professional. The claim must be investigated. For the time being, you should actively work to build a figurative wall between the now victim and whatever or whoever the complaint was made against. If the situation were to occur again and the complaining victim says that they reported it but it wasn't taken seriously, or even worse, that they were told it would be handled and they were sent back to work, the legal problems will be heightened. Managers must be aware and be trained on their legal responsibility in reporting harassment. A manager's number one priority is to remove the complaining victim from the situation and contact HR immediately. Remember, you're not the judge or the jury. Once an employee has made a claim of harassment, it must be handled properly from that moment forward. It's important to keep in mind that even if you may feel that the employee is not being entirely honest, you must still follow your company's standard operating procedure for it. It is not a manager's job to judge whether or not something occurred. It is their job to remove the victim from the situation, take good notes on what the employee has told them, and call HR immediately. Provide an unbiased third party for your employees to speak to about these issues. Provide an unbiased option for your employees to speak to someone other than the owner when making a complaint. As an owner, putting yourself in the middle of a serious situation without the previous HR training to understand the legalities surrounding the issue, you are opening yourself up to serious liability. You should provide an avenue for an employee to speak to someone other than yourself, possibly another manager, or preferably a certified HR professional. Certified HR pros have handled situations like this before and can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Be sure you have documented a policy and procedure that includes a complaint process that you have agreed upon with your HR pro. It is important to have a standard operating procedure in place just in case a situation does occur. This is actually one of the most important features of our business, Cyber. It allows small businesses to outsource their third-party HR handlings to us virtually. So A, your employees have a safe place to voice concerns when they don't feel threatened or coerced by the power that you wield as their boss. And B, Going through us ensures that a third party, so an employee can never retroactively say they didn't feel like they had a safe place to voice a concern in the first place. All of these points go a long way towards, most importantly, keeping your employees happy and healthy, which will make them productive members of your business. Sexual harassment in small business happens, even with teams with the best intentions, and there needs to be a process and system in place to protect you as the owner from that liability. Feel free to check out more of our videos and information on our website, www.cyber.co, CYBHR.co. We look forward to hearing from you.